Practice today, obviously, it's a short week. It's not a typical Monday. So it was a combination of a Tuesday-style practice, and, we got a lot of to make up, in terms of game planning. Trying to get ready for a Friday afternoon game. So so far, so good. So recapping the game, I think we've talked about that mostly already in my post-game press conference. There's some good things, and on both sides of the ball. Obviously, we got to play more efficiently offensively. I did mention about the big drive that I think was really important that we were able to do and accomplish in the 90-yard, 6-minute or so, 14-play drive and getting 7 points. That was really critical to get that opportunity done and executed. And I think the end of the game, like you saw with our defense, they bent but didn't break. Best thing about what I felt our defense did this game that we haven't done in quite some time is we had 4 turnovers, and scoop and score touchdown, which was early part of the first quarter. We had 2 interceptions that were really fantastic plays, and another fumble recovery. So there's definitely some positive signs that the defense can build on. I say right now the biggest issue that we both are working on both sides of the ball is third down. We're not getting off the field on defense, and we're not staying on the field offensively, so we got to be better in those 2 areas. So we're going to work on those things and get ready for a great game plan versus Utah this week, who we know is a very good football team.
Carl, going off of that with the third downs, you guys, I thought, played pretty well first and second down. What was the big, excuse me, big
There's
issue?
still, there's a number still. Talking about defensively?
Yeah, defensively.
Yeah, it's. I think there's some coverage things we got to really clean up. I think that was the biggest culprit. By the way, we did have 3 sacks in the game, which we haven't had that either. So we had some really good things defensively that did occur in the game, but third down was, some coverage things that we need to definitely clean up. Yeah, I see that being really the biggest focal point of that. And we do have some young guys playing, so we got to make sure we're doing systems that they're familiar with and that they feel like they can perform. So we're really scrutinizing that on the defensive side, really utilizing the things that our players can do well and not try to put too much on their plate.
When Robert Barnes and Jack Lamb transferred in, maybe they didn't get the playing time they expected early on, but their patience has kind of paid off here. Just curious what you've seen out of them in that sense, their patience, their development, and obviously them making big plays out there now.
I have to give both of those guys because they were, grad transfers that came here and probably didn't start the season in the hopes of what they were expecting, which was being, starting members and being an integral part of our defense. But like you said, Adam, they have evolved and really have we're caught up to speed and through the process of sometimes it's injury. When Nate went down, we had to use 3 or 4 guys in different packages to, really fill that void when that happened. So now that they're both been playing extensively these last, 4 or 5 weeks, you can see that their abilities and their comfort levels really starting to flourish right now, and they're triggering faster and they're playing faster. So that's been a big silver lining for us defensively is, with Nate's injury and him not being able to play, those guys have eventually kind of been caught up to speed and are starting to make some plays that they're capable of making.
Carl, we haven't seen a lot of emotion out of you. Like when we see you on the sidelines on the TV camera, you look pretty stoic. But after the game, you got pretty emotional with the team when you were talking about this upcoming game with Utah. Mm-hmm. Where'd that come from? Was it calculated? Was it just something you felt was right in the spur of the moment? Kind of talk us through it.
That's interesting. That's people have said that. I would say reserved. I wouldn't say stoic. I would say I'm reserved. But believe me, I'm boiling inside. You can ask any of my players that. They'll say, well, don't let that what my exterior looks like fool you. I'm just focused. I'm really focused in games. I'm thinking about the strategy of the game. When is there an opportunity for us to make something special happen? There's always a number of things that we're trying to accomplish. There's special teams, plays that I like that we've been working on all season, trying to find the right moment for those things. So it's a number of things that I think about in the course of the game, along with what's going on, play after play. But what happened in the locker room is that the team was really excited. I was excited that they had a hard-fought win. And, their confidence is getting better. It's getting better. We struggled at times. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, we're winning the game, and we come out in the second half at UCLA, and we just didn't have any answers, and nobody rallied to really stop the bleeding. And then this week we found someone that can start making some plays, and everybody started to rally with. So, this team is learning to become a team. They're learning to be able to cover up for areas where one side of the ball is struggling, or poor special teams play, or which we haven't had many, but they're starting to understand that anything can happen at any moment that changes the complexion of the game, and this game was definitely that way. If it was you guys all had the stat sheets. The team that had all the yards and all the first downs and third down conversions, they didn't win the game. Well, we played smarter, in the critical times, and we took care of the football, and we were opportunistic in getting turnovers, and then we had to score when we needed to score. So those are elements that I think teams learn how to do, and we're starting that process of learning how to perform in those difficult moments.
Nico Reid's not the biggest guy on your football team, but he's gotten out there as a true freshman and made plays. What does he do well that's allowed him to have that impact?
His confidence and attitude is off the charts. He came in that way. When he was here this summer, he wasn't intimidated about, wow, this is college football. I made it. I got all these teammates. I know they're good players. And he came in saying that I fit right in and I can compete. I can help this team. Put me in, coach. I can showcase what I can do. And really, literally, ever since he stepped on the field, he's had that attitude, and he's been able to perform in the fashion that he exudes about himself. So him making that play in the end zone, he's done that in practice. He's done it with some of our best receivers. So he's just a really true competitor, and we all trust him. That's hard to do when he's a true freshman. Oh, shoot, in some critical moments of games. But he's always has a knack of being around the football and being in position when he's covering people, and he's been making plays. So, and, you haven't even seen him as a returner yet. Wait until he returns, and he may have a chance to do that. Actually, he will have a chance to do that this week because of Brendan being out, Brendan Rice. So you're going to see, a little bit more of what Nico Reid can do because he's a dynamite athlete, and he's very confident, very confident.
I guess, as you just mentioned, with Brendan being out, do you see guys like Chris Carpenter, Ty Robinson playing bigger roles?
Exactly. They're going to play bigger roles. They're going to have to. And, Montana went out 2 weeks ago. Now Brendan's out. So, Chris Carpenter had a big catch, big third down catch that was really critical and part of that 90-yard drive. And it was good to get his confidence going. So, yes, he's going to play with Chase and, Ty. And, you still have Daniel. You still have Dimitri too. So, we still have a very capable group, very confident group, and they know they can make plays, and we just got to put them in positions to make plays and execute some good offense. But we feel we have the capabilities to do that.
Carl, a little preview for Utah. What were they doing that got them as dominant as they were against Oregon? And then their defense was it their defense that shut them down, or they just had the ball too long in order for Oregon to get a chance?
I believe Utah got better every week of the season as, they had some struggles early, and I think it was right around probably week 6, 7 of the season that they just started really to click. Defensively, they're playing as good as they've played all season. They're very, very stingy on that side of the ball. They're confident. They play well. It's a great system on defense. And then offensively, their quarterback that came in and replaced a guy early in the season, he's kind of, developed kind of an aura of himself within their offense because he's a dynamic player himself. He will take off and run it when he has opportunities to do that. He's been able to throw passes and create big play chunks with, their system and they do a lot of things with their tight ends and receivers, and then they have the great balance of the run game too. So they're a difficult team to defend, on the offensive side. But the quarterback's playing really well, and defensively they're playing really well, and that's the reason why I think they ended up with that win last week versus Oregon.
Carl, Kyle's been there for a very long
And they had a
time.
punt return, by the way, for a touchdown.
Kyle's been there for a very long time, and obviously they've got an identity, and their program is very well set. Is that kind of a blueprint that Colorado and other programs in the Pac-12 can look at and kind of model somehow after Utah?
I don't know if it's to say the model after what they're doing, but I think we all, if you get a chance to be at a place for a long period of time, your foundation of what you are as a program gets really established, and you have years of classes that go through that program that have, they have a great feel of what the expectations are and their systems of what they play defensively and offensively. It's when you have older seniors that can help coach the underclassmen about what it looks like and continue that pattern of growth year after year, it gives you a chance to have great stability and really a stable level of success. And that's not taking anything away from Coach Whittingham, because he's an excellent coach. But that's what we all aspire to do once we get a chance to, get our foundation set in your program and start building with recruiting classes and start having the natural, ascension through your program, and with seniors being able to help coach the younger players, and, kind of rejuvenates itself year after year. And, we're just in the beginning stages of that. We had a half year a year ago, which really doesn't count in my opinion, because it was a COVID year and it was kind of weird. But this year is kind of that year really is you're building that strong foundation now. And the one thing I'm proud about this team is that they do have a lot of fight in them. They have a lot of fight in them. We got to coach better. We got to continue to bring them and develop them better so that they can do things at a higher level of consistency. And I think that's coming. I really do. I feel we're heading in the right direction.
Coach, you look at the last few games that you guys have had, and it's like the old game, chutes and ladders. You go kind of up a little bit, and then all of a sudden you hit that slide and you're back down, and you're thinking, what the heck happened? How do you as a coach avoid the slide back now that you have the rally cry that you had this week?
Well, you still have to coach those moments as they come, as they come up. I referenced earlier about the UCLA game and how poor the performance was in the second half. That was something we talked about quite a bit from Monday through that whole week prior to Washington that I believe helped us sustain a level of consistency and effort, that gave us a chance to win the game last week. So, these guys are first time working together and going through these ebbs and flows of the season. You have to coach them through all of those moments about how this should have happened. And, this is a great job right here, which we had a number of those issues that came up in a positive way last week. But you still have to continue to bring them along with understanding that's really that's a typical Saturday, in college football. You're going to have some adversity. How do you handle that adversity? How do you get back on track? There's get back on track calls that offensively and defensively that you make to try to get your team settled down, from a coaching perspective. So it's really just marching through every one of those experiences and talking about it and giving them the solutions as we get out of it. And I think those are the things that are starting to show in some of those difficult moments now.
Carl, you guys have been pretty good at home. On the road, it's been a little bit different story. Is that partly because of a young team that they've got to learn how to win on the road as well?
We have to learn how to win on the road, and we haven't done that. And, we were 4-2 last year, and, we had 2 road wins. We had 2 home wins, and then we had 2 losses that were, one was at home and one was on the road in the bowl game. I call that a road game since it wasn't in our stadium. So we have had some discussions on that, but that's really going to be a major point going into this offseason about what that looks like, and really reference a lot of the games we had this year where we were probably having a chance to be in control of games, and we didn't finish for one reason or another. So it goes back into your question about those are things we got to talk about and understand that our performance when you're on the road is completely, something that it's different. It's not at home. You don't have the home crowd. You have things that are against you from an environment standpoint, but you have to utilize that as, a source of strength, though. I think that's really something that this team will learn, over the course of this offseason, and we'll show a better effort on those things, particularly on road games in the future.
Utah has one of the better fronts in the country. Is this a good litmus test for your offensive line, kind of going into the offseason to kind of gauge where they're at?
It's, each week has been a great litmus test for our offense, and we still have to, we still have a lot of work to go there, even though they've made some levels of improvement. I didn't think they played particularly great last week. We didn't protect as well, and but we did some good things, not to a level that where it was prior to when I made the change. But we need to make sure that we're playing solid, throughout the game. And I believe this is going to be a great test for both fronts. Their offensive front's a big offensive line. Their left tackle's as big as anybody I've seen in college football, and so it's going to be a challenge for Carson and those guys rushing off of that their left tackle. He's a really big kid and very talented. So they have a good size front on both sides. So it's going to be a great challenge for both of our fronts, offensively and defensively.
You already mentioned Brendan. I want to ask you about a couple other guys. Is there a chance Nate plays this week?
A chance.
Okay. Guy Thomas?
A chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Janaz Jordan did not play.
There's a
the other
chance.
day.
Yeah, there.
Okay.
Yeah, he just had a sore shoulder, but he's feeling good today in practice today, so we're hopeful he's up for the game. The same thing with Justin Jackson, who's out of concussion protocol now, and Jamar is out of concussion protocol now, so those guys should be up for the game.
And then one last one, Jack Lamb. I know he got dinged up a little bit the other
He
day.
probably will not play.
Okay.
No, his injury's probably a couple weeks away, so he's probably not going to be able to play.
Anything else for Coach?
All right. Thank you. Who's that good-looking lady over there?